Welcome to the pre-concert podcast to premiere performance's upcoming recital, Zee Zee's Liszt Ravel, Voyages. In this podcast, pianist Zee Zee herself will share her thoughts in the upcoming recital program. This podcast was recorded during Zee Zee's pre-concert Zoom chat organized by Aura Music.
Hi everyone. I want to talk about the general idea about the Recital program. So this is the 210th anniversary of Liszt. So I'm doing a big Liszt tour on side of that. So you can see all the second half is the Liszt on Pèlerinage. So and I pick each one. There are 3 episodes, and I pick one piece from each episodes. So that's Liszt. And then I thought about Liszt and his time and also his influence. So we all know how Wagner is so connected to Liszt. He married one of his daughter, and they were really admiring each other. And Liszt he's Wagner's big fan. And then it's the big chromaticism party, basically. It's, Wagner, Mahler, Strauss, Liszt in that category. So, and one of the most substantial, important work by Wagner is the Tristan and Isolde. And then you know how important the Tristan chord is from the preludes. That's the most, one of the most important moment in the music history, and also in the music theory. How the prelude is in A major. It never started in that key. It never ended. It never resolved in that key. However, it's just this Tristan chord that goes nowhere. It's so exotic. And Schönberg took that chord to compose his Opus 11, this Drei, Klavierstücke, the 3 piano piece. And it's a motive development. It's also a very important work in the music history because it's one of the first substantial atonal work, which Schönberg abandoned the harmony language 200 years ahead of his time, and he invented something new. He invented a completely new system, a completely new language, this format, atonal, and then it's called motive development. And this motive is this T chord from Tristan and Isolde. So the Wagner prelude and the Schönberg Drei Klavierstücke definitely is a pair. This is how he composed, Schönberg composed this piece. Let me tell you guys, it's not that I don't respect your feelings, that I want to stop Schönberg to you, to make you listen. It's a great piece. It deserves to be heard. Schönberg really made a lot of inside joke. There are a lot of humor in it, and it's very detached emotionally. It's very, I just hope I can make you enjoy it. If you don't, it's okay. I'm only doing the first and third movement. It's only going to be 7 minutes. The 7 minutes will pass very fast. So that's what I can tell you. And then it's when 1909 to 1911, when Schönberg composed this piece, it's at exactly the same time Ravel composed Gaspard de la Nuit. And Gaspard de la Nuit is, of course, if anyone who's a pianist in this group chat, and people will know, Gaspard de la Nuit is one of the best piece in the piano literature in 20th century. And also Ravel, this water writing in Années. A lot of water writing Ravel get is from Liszt. It's the Villa d'Est from the 3rd year of the travel episode. So there you go. For example, Ravel's Jadot, the Ondine, a lot of influence from already showed in Liszt composition. So they're somehow all somewhat connected. And I think when it comes to balance, this is also, and gives the audience enough variety, but also not out of logic. Somehow there is a logic behind this. So Ondine, for example, is this sad mermaids in water and how beautiful the water is, for example. I think it's just so ingenious, that opening six beats, about the water writing. Of course, it's also really difficult. And then you have to pretend it's not difficult. You have to make every note just sound completely transparent and even, all that. And, it's so emotional. And then how this mermaid was, asking for love, the sadness, and then how it built up to the climax. And when it didn't happen, she was all of a sudden so angry and left. And then as if her tail, made the waves in the water. And then and the water comes down, and then it back to nothing again. It's this kind of writing is so precise. It's so precise about the poem. Of course, it's a poem from Bertrand. It's so precise of the discrimination of the poet, the literature, and also the picture. How did Ravel can be so ingenious and precisely describe all these pictures through notes? I just think it's so incredible. And so as La Gibet, it's like a dead people hanging on the crosswalk, and this bell just kept ringing from beginning to end. And of course, La Scarborough means a shadow, and this shadow comes from nowhere, goes nowhere, all of a sudden disappeared, from the loudest to the softest, from a small shadow to grow into this giant monster. And then all of a sudden it disappeared as if it never happened. It's like a shadow. So every of these writings are so precise. I just want to bring all of this out.
Thank you for listening to our pre-concert podcast. Zee Zee's recital will be held on 17th of May 2021 at the Hong Kong Cultural Centre Concert Hall at 7:30 p.m. For details and tickets, please visit pphk.org. This is Premier Performances of Hong Kong, and see you at the concert hall.